Welcome back to Gale Force Wins Season 5.
Well, folks, welcome back to Gale Force Wins. Gale Force Wins started as an inspirational podcast. Every Tuesday night, we release a deep dive with individuals in the community. It started off more around people that are far along on their journey. However, in this case, we're going to talk to two young men that are at the beginning of the journey. And that makes me really excited because we're sitting here at Memorial University in the atrium of the business building where I actually have my roots. I did a business degree here, shot wedding videos, paid my way through this facility doing that on weekends. But Gale Force Wins is all about inspiration. And Russell happens to be a friend of my son. And Nathan, I don't know if you know him as well as maybe Russell does. Yeah, you both know him. Anyway, I follow both of them on LinkedIn. And there's some really special happenings recently for them as a group, but also Nathan, we're going to talk a little bit about something that's happened to you as well. So first of all, welcome, and I'd like to throw it over to you, Russell. Tell us your name and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Gerry. My name is Russell Noseworthy. I'm a fifth year now a commerce co-op student at Memorial University and co-portfolio manager of the fund, MUN's Student Managed Investment Fund. Nathan is the other co-portfolio manager, and together we manage roughly $400,000 of real money and invest it in equity markets in North America. We were very fortunate to participate in case competition this year, again with Van Burkom, which is an asset manager in Montreal. So we participated there last year and came first, and we were fortunate enough to return and have another first place win. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to park that for a second. We're going to bury the lead on that one. Nathan, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hi, my name is Nathan Young. I just finished fifth year of business here at MUN, and I also did a joint degree in economics as well. Like Russell said, I'm co-portfolio manager of the fund here, our student fund, and that's kind of how we've mostly become acquainted over the years. And outside of university, I'm a competitive curler and try to make a few shots on the ice every now and then as well.
Competitive curler. Well, I've played a bunch of sports, golf, hockey, and soccer. Yeah. I curled once in my life, and I was sore for about 3 weeks after. I'm not very good at it. Tell us a little bit, Nathan, about the inspiration for why you came to the business faculty and why business is of interest to you.
Well, my interest in business kind of goes back to when I'm 12 years old or before. But when I was 12, I asked for shares of Fortis for my birthday. And so I've always had a huge interest in investing in finance and business models, et cetera. And it really comes down to, I think, family, the impact the family's had on me. We talked a bit before the interview, like my dad's an accountant, my grandfather's an accountant, MBA, business owners. Everyone is involved with business, and it kind of became, just something that was always around. And here we are. I'll finish the business degree here, just like all of them. So
yeah, Russell, what about you? What was the inspiration for coming to Memorial Business?
Yeah, well, funny enough, after high school, I applied to the engineering program and the business program. I was accepted to both, and went to my parents for advice because they were both engineers for their undergraduate degree. They're both engineers, I told my dad. He doesn't like when I tell this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
You want me to edit it out after?
We'll see. But I told him I was accepted into the engineering program, and he said, "I'm sorry to hear that." This is what he told me. So from that point on, I went the business route, and I had heard from others that there was more flexibility in the program, and that I have a number of interests. I coach a lot of basketball here in the province. I'm coach of the under 15 boys team this summer, and I do a lot of volunteering as well. So I figured that flexibility would work best with me, and I've come to love the program and many of the student organizations, such as the fund within the Faculty of Business.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I graduated in 1993, long before you both were born, but I can tell you that this has had quite an impact on my life, this facility. Not everything you learn in the class is applicable, but I found, and I always say this to my son Spencer, that, I find the striving for information. I found the professors always piqued my interest in delving deeper, and you guys now have it. I won't say it's easier, but you have access to information. The internet was just getting going when I was graduating. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you two have accomplished. Tell me a little bit more about the fund. I believe you say there's actual money. I thought it was just not fake money, but
like a practice account.
Wasn't it started that way though, didn't it?
I can take the first half of this, and you can fill me in anywhere I miss anything. So the fund was started around 2018 with the seed funding of $150,000 from Memorial alumni. So from there, we've grown it in part through donation and investment returns to $400,000, where it is today. The program is to give real students, the goal of the program is to give real students real experience with investing, and the soft skills that people get are my biggest takeaway from the program. There's a lot of technical skills that we all learn, but the people you meet, both in the professional setting and academic setting, and the soft skills, the friends you make in the program are what I'm going to take away the most, and the ability to talk, advocate for yourself, present in front of a group of experts is something that you don't get the chance in typical courses and typical programs. So when we present and we do a stock pitch or an economic outlook in front of the CFO of Fortis, for example, and we get real-time feedback from her and their perspective, it is invaluable, and it's it's something I'll hold with me for my career.
She's a graduate of this program, the same year I graduated as well.
Is that right?
Yeah. So you want to add something? To that?
I don't have much to add, Gerry, but I would say Russell talked about the group of experts, so I wanted to talk about that a bit. So one of the biggest things about the fund for me is the mentors that we have. Mon alumni that have gone on to have gain a lot of experience, have a lot of success locally in Toronto, in other financial hubs around the world, that have come back to the university now to be mentors to this program and to the students to help them break into the industry, and they give advice. You can email, we have about, say, 50 of them now. You can email them, they'll respond, and have a half-hour conversation with you whenever. They have been extremely
in the middle of their busy day.
In the middle of Saturday. I mean, it happens all the time, and for me, that's huge, and not a resource that you can easily access outside of programs like this.
Well, with the volatility in the markets lately, I'm not sure why they're so volatile, but anyway, what have you guys learned in the last, say, couple of months, the last 100 days, let's say?
Oh my. Yeah, jeez. Well, our fiscal year end is March 31st.
Yeah.
So we just recently put together our annual report for last year, and what we found, we actually outperformed our benchmark as a fund this year, which doesn't really happen because we're a very conservative fund. So normally we don't go up as much in the up markets, but we don't go down as much in the down markets. And because the markets have been going up, we've just been underperforming. Now we have some volatility. February and March weren't great months for the indices. No. TSX, S&P, they were down. We outperformed by 2 or 3% each month, which helped us outperform for the year. And staying the course. We opened up one of our economic outlooks with Warren Buffett: be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. And you stay the course, and you take advantage of these opportunities, and you outperform.
Yeah. Wow. You guys are still in university and you're talking like that. Many people have taken 30 years to figure all that out. Fascinating. The fund, real money. Well, it says right there, real money, real experience. I've been educated today. I honestly, as an alumni, had no idea. How many students are involved in the fund?
Yeah, that varies year to year. Yeah. Typically anywhere between 10 to 20 this year. I think we had 15 students. So within that, there are portfolio managers, sector managers, which would manage specific sectors like energy, healthcare, financials, etc. And then we have our analysts who pick stocks, companies to pitch in that sector. So first and second year students typically become analysts, and you work your way up through the program and through those positions. So with Nathan graduating here now this past month, and I'm moving into my fifth year, we've passed along all those positions.
Yeah. What would you say, Nathan, as you graduate, in terms of the fund, not the university as a whole, we'll talk about that probably later in the interview, but what has this meant to you in terms of your education since you've been here?
It's been huge, and the fund has changed my life. The company that I'm going to work for, that I currently work for, but I'm going to be joining them full time in a month, I met because the partner is a mentor of the fund. And so that aside, I mean, it's huge. The practical experience that the fund was created to, enable is huge. Like the financial modeling skills. We have a lot of accounting is a huge program at MUN, right?
Yes.
At MUN Business. I don't know if many of the accounting students would be able to, and I'm going to get in huge trouble now with a lot of my friends, but
That's good. Comment on this when you see it.
Create a financial model open an Excel spreadsheet, create a financial model that links the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow with supporting schedules, blah, 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 and then send it to Fortis and be like, hey, what do you think? And they're like, oh yeah, this is pretty, decently, representation of our company. The hands-on experience is huge, and you take that to the real world immediately.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Russell, are you co-chairs of the fund, or what's the structure?
Yeah, so the co-portfolio managers are
Right.
title here now. So together, the buck stops with us in a way, and our faculty advisor, with what companies we invest in, where we put our money, and at what times. Nathan, this is his second time being portfolio manager, and this was my first year. But performance was quite strong this year, and
That's
hope
good.
to replicate it going forward.
Yeah.
So Nathan moves on, and then someone else is going to join you. You're going to go on. Will you be guaranteed to be the co-portfolio manager? Or?
I'm still to be determined whether or not I stay in this role, with a number of other things on the go. Next year, I'm going to be a part of the fund until I graduate. No question there. But it is, it's a role that takes up a number of hours each day, and hours are precious as you go into your last year of university. Other things on the go, but we will have likely two new portfolio managers next year, which will lead the fund.
Who's your faculty advisor for the fund?
Dr. Yang Zhu. So she's a new faculty this year. She came into, I believe it was this time last year, she came into the faculty. She has experience in financial markets from New York, and she's been leading us now over the past year. In 2018, the fund was created by Dr. Aaron Olford, who has since moved to become a dean at another university. But we've, since inception of the program, we've had great leadership and support from the faculty and our faculty advisor. What we do wouldn't be possible without both the time that's committed by the faculty advisor and other members of staff that help us and enable us to do what we do, and also the financial support from the faculty that enable us to go to competitions and go on the industry trip where we meet with different companies in Toronto and stuff like that. So we're really, really grateful for this experience and the support for this program. It's vital.
Amazing. Let me ask you a last question on the fund. We'll delve into some of the other things we want to talk about. But the money itself, is it earmarked? Like what is it just going to grow? What's the plan?
Right. Yeah, it's a great question, and
Big debate, is it?
As it keeps growing in size, people are like, "Wow, there's a bit of money over here. What are we going to do?" So I think last year we said we're not going to touch anything until we get to $1 million in assets, right? At that point, look, we can teach what we want to teach with $100.
Yeah.
Right. So to some extent, there's a practical we can actually start to have an impact with some of the returns we're making here. But until we get to $1 million at this point in time, stay the course.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming someone or some institution will be the beneficiary of that wonderful money. Let me ask you this. So the reason that I really wanted you here today was, to delve into the journey. But as I said at the beginning, there was something really special, and you kind of got into it at the beginning. Did that come from like the fund? And I'll let you lead it off, Russell, and just tell us a little bit about what it was that you attended, and then we'll delve into how special it was for Memorial University.
Yeah, for sure. I can backtrack slightly there and say how we attended, I guess. So through the fund and through the 15, 20 members we have each year, traditionally we've sent all the senior members on a trip, right? Not a vacation, but something that will enhance their personal development, professional development. So we, in the past, we've done an industry trip every year that where we send all the senior members. We go up to Toronto and we do 2 full days of office meetings with professionals in the finance industry. So banks, asset management firms, Bloomberg, for instance.
Is that just MUN, or is that a conglomeration, a collaboration of others?
That's just MUN. So last year we would have sent out about 8 students. This year we sent out 5. And they go and network, and a lot of times that turns into job opportunities or leads and things like that. So it's super vital. And then the other travel that we're fortunate enough to have support for and go into is competitions. One of which was the Burkom case competition in Montreal. We, for the first time, applied and attended that last year. It works as though they put out a call for applications for schools all over North America. And you need to submit a few pages equity research brief, if you will, on a company that they choose. And I believe they received over 30 applications last year and a similar number this year. And both years we were chosen as one of the 9 teams that'll move on and actually attend the competition in Montreal. So that in itself was really big for us,
the university
right?
program.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a world competition?
I don't know exactly who was open. It was definitely North America, so Canadian and United States universities.
Yeah, I saw that there.
Yeah, but I mean, if they got a great application from a European school, I'm sure they would allow them to attend as well.
And how long has this particular competition been going on? Do you know that?
Yeah, this is the 14th year.
14th.
We just passed. Yeah. And it's actually we were the first school to ever win the competition back-to-back 2 years in a row.
Just stop, folks. You hear what he just said? This is the first time that anyone in 14 years has won it back-to-back at Memorial University under the leadership of you two. And who are the 2 other? There was 2 others?
2 others this year. Yeah, Luke Sullivan and Kirk Edwards.
Right. Well, I mean, it's incredible leadership that you guys have shown. In the 14 years, I'm not going to ask you every year, what is the breakdown between, say, Canadian versus U.S. Schools? Do you know?
To guess, I would
put you on the spot.
Mostly,
You don't need to know the answer.
I think it was mostly Canadian. Looking back through that, at one point I did notice that trend. But the caliber of the universities that attend this competition, like Ivy League schools go there, master's students can attend as well. We're all undergraduate. Last year we competed against a number of master's students from Queens, I believe, and Babson College in the U.S., and a number of really top-notch schools and top-notch students and top-notch programs, right?
So were the 4 of you on the team last year, or was there?
No. So there was 4 of us, but Nathan and I were both there last year. But 2 of the members of the previous team has since graduated, Pedro Gruner and Arian Falk. So they're graduated now. They're working in the industry. Both. I think Arian's working with
Fortis now.
Fortis, and Pedro is working in equity research in Vancouver.
Amazing. Nathan, tell us a little bit about, what was the preparation like for this? I mean, maybe talk a bit about last year and then how you repeated.
Right. So last year, this year was a bit different because Russell was across the pond. Kirk was in Toronto on a work term, so we were really spread out this year. But we rewind last year. We submitted an application. We were chosen as one of the top 9 invited to Montreal. So now we have 2 months to prepare for the finals in Montreal.
Yep.
And we relied on our network of industry mentors with the fund to say, look, we're going to simulate the case competition a couple times before we leave, which is you get a company and you have 6 hours to do a full financial model, to do a full presentation and analysis and macroeconomic analysis and company-specific analysis and form your investment theses, et cetera. You have 6 hours.
6 hours.
So we did that. We came to Mun a couple days, just, 10 a.m. in the morning start, and then at 4 p.m. we had mentors come in, and they acted like the judges. Right? And the first time that we did it was total disaster. I mean, we didn't have the presentation completed, and the mentors were like, this is good, but I mean, you really need to finish it, Anyway, so
the practice was 6 hours. This was practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was exactly how the case competition went in Montreal. So we got to Montreal, and we were like,
Hey, hold on, before you go ahead, in your practice, you eventually did finish it within the 6 hours. Did they throw more scenarios at you, or the same one, or how did you do that? I'm just trying to get a sense of how you prepared.
Another iteration with a different company.
Okay.
And we knew where we had to be faster on, and we just
and you did
it down.
So your confidence level had risen.
Right.
I wouldn't say your confidence was very high the first time.
No,
it's not.
No. So we get to Montreal and we say, well, look, we made progress in our practices, but we're still not 100% confident. And so one of the universities asked us, the student, how'd you hear about this competition being from Newfoundland? And we're like, well, we have a robust network of carrier pigeons that bring us information on a monthly basis, and we just happened to see this one. We're like, no, we're a real place, and we're very good. So that really lit a fire in us at that time, at that moment. Like, okay, we're here, let's do this, and we did. And then, so going back this year, preparation was a little bit more difficult because, like I said, we were a bit more spread out geographically. But Russell and I had been there before. Yeah. We knew what the expectations were. We got there with a bit more confidence in ourselves.
Well, the carrier pigeon Zoom network can help you, right, when you're trying to communicate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Did you hear that, mainland Canada? We know technology. That's hilarious. Being in the Navy, I encountered that a lot crossing Canada. But that's fascinating. So you did a lot of online preparation, I would imagine. Did you do the two new guys? Mm-hmm. That would have been harder for them. You guys have been through it. They hadn't. So that online is great, but it's hard, right? So tell me a little bit about, how did you make sure that they felt comfortable?
In a sense, they were going in blind, to be honest with you, but they were troopers, and we made it through. A lot of the work that we do in the fund is somewhat similar to what we do in the competition, where we have a company and we need to present on it and convince everyone that we should buy it, right? So they had worked on previous projects that are similar, but the timeline for us is 7 or 8 weeks when we're start to finish this presentation, right? So 6 hours and 8 weeks is a bit different. Yeah. Mm.
So let's go. You're in Montreal, you said, right?
Yeah.
Where exactly? Was it in a hotel or was it in some
Concordia?
Concordia. Oh, you went to the university.
Yeah.
Wow. And how many? Pardon me?
Beautiful university.
You know what? I've been to Montreal a million times. I've been to McGill. I don't think I've been to Concordia at all.
It's nice.
Can't remember. But anyway, so how many other competing schools are there at this particular event this year?
This year there were 9 that were selected, and over the course of 2 days, each team presents to a panel of judges, and scores is determined. But this 9 is derived from a pool of 30 or more schools that applied to come, and only 9 were selected.
Interesting. So how did that selection process work?
So we were given about 1 week to formulate a recommendation on a company, whether to buy or sell a prescribed company, and then from our research, both about the company, macro research, and our financial modeling, we determined that we made our findings and sent it along in a PDF to the judges, and then heard back a few weeks later, and we're accepted to attend again.
So how long would those findings have been? In terms of page length?
3.
3 pages.
Very strict.
Very, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then 3 appendix, and we would just put our financial model essentially at the end.
Wow. You had to get to the point in a hurry.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'm fascinated by what you've accomplished with this. It's incredible. So let's go to the day. You're in Concordia. Is there sort of like some sort of series of events that lead to narrowing it down? Like, tell us a little bit about how that unfolded.
Yeah.
Just talk through the day.
Yeah, sure. So, we would essentially arrive at the university, and they would bring us right to our case room. And it's a essentially a largely student-run competition. So it's amazing what their team is able to do, and each team has their own, I'll call it a champion, for lack of a better word, a Concordia student who is taking care of us extremely well. I mean, every 30 minutes they pop in our case room and say, "Do you need water? Do you need a little snack or whatever?" But we get in our case room and then open the Google Drive, and at whatever time, the case gets popped in there, and then you start. And so the first hour is just, we kind of took the first half hour to everyone just read the case, formulate your own thoughts, and then we would come together.
And how long would the case be, like that as presented to you?
Yeah, 4 or 5 pages probably. But you're not restricted to what you can research online. So it's endless information essentially, right?
And a lot of financials with that in the initial stage.
Yeah. So then we would come back after 30 minutes each. We'd just start to discuss it, and we had only had 2 hours before a live analyst call simulation. So after we have 6 hours, okay. One of those hours is a simulation of an analyst call with the company's real CFO. So after 2 hours, we leave our case room, we go to the hall, the Great Hall, and we sit down with all the other universities, and they bring in the real CFO of the company that's the case. So the first day,
an actual company,
Group Dynamite,
real case,
real stuff,
publicly traded company, Group Dynamite. They went public recently, and they brought in the CFO of this company to do an hour call.
That's exciting.
So every university gets to ask questions to the CFO to then incorporate in their presentation. So we had to come up with questions beforehand. So that was what it was about.
That's
before.
a panic in itself, because you're talking to a real high-level person at this company. You can't ask a stupid question.
No.
You get 1, maybe 2 chances, and they're like Memorial University is asking the question, right? So it's not just you.
Yeah.
You better have a well-formulated question.
They don't know who we are. They just know Memorial.
Yeah.
So it's huge pressure.
On that note, you guys are not representing just yourselves. You're representing the province and the university. So you feel that, do you, while the day is unfolding?
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah. Just back to what Nathan said earlier, when we attended the first year and they asked how we heard of the competition, that's when we knew we had something to prove, not only for the fund, for the faculty, for the university, but for the province. We're here. We're just as good as everyone else, and we can win this. We're capable, and we proved that.
Correct.
So now you're in the Great Hall. You're asking questions of the CFO.
Yeah. And we're getting great information. We leave there. We go back to the case room, and we only have 3 hours to put everything together. And for the most part, nothing is put together until the last hour. The way we divided it up was I kind of took the financial modeling part, but then the 3 guys were dealing with, the company overview, the macroeconomic characteristics. How can we fit this into the investment thesis? And then throughout all this, we're talking to each other because we're saying, well, the market's growing, 5% a year. That'll affect the growth that I put in the model for revenue. And are they going to do some M&A? Because if they are, they might grow, maybe 7 or 8%. What percent of cash flow are they going to be investing in this? And this is the kind of conversations that are happening. And then at the end, we go, okay, guys, we have a good thing, but everything's in pieces. Lego blocks are now they're not on the floor anymore. Lego blocks are on the table, but we need to put them all together. Yeah. And it's kind of a scramble in Canva to put everything.
You used Canva, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. How did the financial modeling? So did you have a template to help with plugging numbers in, or are you like?
Yeah. Well,
how do you? I'm trying to that can be very time consuming.
This is an unpopular opinion, but my philosophy is never start a financial model from a template.
No.
Because one line, the whole thing gets messed up for such a simple thing, and you spend 30 minutes trying to figure out like where one cell is linked wrong. So I always start from a blank sheet.
Wow, you're a lot better at Excel or Google Sheets.
Yeah,
what do you
whatever, either or. Didn't matter.
You're a lot better than I am. Fascinating. So, okay, just bring us along to where we are now in the day.
Okay. So we get everything put together, we submit it, and then 10 minutes later, we're in front of a panel of judges. And these judges are real industry experts. They work for Van Burkom Asset Management, they work for the university, doesn't matter. And we give 10-minute presentation, 10-minute Q&A.
Yeah.
We leave the room. The judges deliberate for 5 minutes. We go back in the room, and then they give us feedback.
Were there any questions in that 10-minute presentation, or did you just present?
So we presented and then had a question period afterward.
Okay.
And then once the question period was over, we'd leave, come back and receive feedback. But our feedback would be, we wouldn't get a number on how we did. They scored it out of 30. Every school is scored out of 30, and we wouldn't know until much later in the evening. So we went back to our hotel afterward, changed, and came back for a social that they put off. And then at the end of that, they really release the scores for the first day. So there's a 2-day competition.
Okay.
So that was, then we got our score, and this year we were second place, one point behind.
Amazing.
HSA.
Just go back a little bit, Russell. The questions. How tough did you find the questions after your 10-minute presentation?
They ask the questions for a reason, because something's missing.
Yeah.
And so we're scrambling here and to say, well, who knows most about this? We don't get a chance to huddle and say, all right, Russell, you take this one now. It's like 4 of us are standing up there, and it's just about whoever knows it.
Comes organically, I feel I know I can take this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't know, because in 6 hours, it's a lot.
Right. And we would say that.
Yeah.
We're really sorry, but we don't actually know that. We didn't consider that, but thank you for pointing it out, and that we move on.
And I think that helped a lot.
Authenticity in your response is important, isn't it?
Big time.
If you try to bullshit, you're going to be in trouble, aren't you?
And the feedback that we got both years after every day from every panel of judges is, wow, you guys work as a team. You can present. We believe you in a sense. And that, I don't think that was the case for every team. And I think that's a product of working together at the fund and a number of other things.
Being from Newfoundland, whatever that does to you personally.
I agree. So Russell, okay, we're finished day 2. You're second place out of 9. There's still 9 in the competition.
Yeah, everyone at the end of day 1, and we get our scores back. We're second place. Day 2, everyone returns. You've got your score.
Who was in first place? So I'm trying to picture who you were chasing. Can you remember?
HEC.
Who?
They're a university in Quebec.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. So we come back on day 2, and everyone's there, and it's the exact same layout, same process as the day before, but just a different company. So you're starting from scratch essentially, except with the score that you've got from the day before.
Yeah.
So you go through the same process, you present, you ask questions, and then there's a ball, an event at a different venue. It's very fancy. They provide lots of food and all that, which is great.
Beverages.
Lots of beverages. Everyone's waiting to figure out the final scores. And the one thing that they really stress throughout the competition is that you need to incorporate your feedback. So the feedback that we received after, we did very well. We were second place, right? 27 out of any 30 possible points. So we only lost 3 of.
Wow.
Right? It's very good, but we still weren't first, right? So we needed to make improvements and go. And they said that no one's safe, and a lot of movement typically happens on that second day. It depends on who incorporates the feedback, to best really. So you can come from 5th, 6th place and come all the way to first if you do it right. So we were by no means set for a podium finish at this point at all. And we had finished the second day and got much tougher feedback on the second day.
Really?
So our spirits were.
Well, we thought it was.
We thought we were done. We were. We were worried.
Are you able to watch the feedback for others, or you're completely outside?
You're blind.
So you guys are blind. You don't have a clue really what's going on here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and we thought we did a really good job of implementing feedback from the first day, and then we received some tough feedback. So our spirits were down going into this social event, and we used our drink tickets quickly. We lit something on fire.
Yeah, so
But literally.
So we were just standing around the table having a chat, and every table had these little candles on it, right? Like very nice candles. And so, I don't know, someone laid their drink and their napkin down, and then the napkin kind of tipped over.
I think it was the McGill guys as well. It wasn't us. The McGill.
Yeah,
people.
we blame it on McGill.
And then the tablecloth caught on fire, and anyways, but quickly went out.
So there's a bit of activity, a bit of excitement.
Yeah.
So you're at the event, and how long? Like you're there for what, an hour and a half, and then the big announcement happens.
Yeah.
So you guys actually at this point are pretty despondent. You feel like you're toast. Yeah.
So they have this board and they write all the scores on the board first before attaching any names to it. So we know we're going in with 27, and we know the scores from other teams from the previous day, but we don't know how anyone scored it this day. And as they announced the podium, they announced third place, and I can't remember who it was, but it wasn't us. And we thought,
They aggregate both days into a score? Or is that how they do it?
Total score for the competition out of 60.
Right.
30 both days. And we were in third place, so then we saw the scores for first and second place, and we started doing the math, and once we weren't second place either, so they announced third place, second place, and they wait on the first place. We start doing the math, and we realize, we won.
No other team could have mathematically gotten to that point level.
Yeah, because the cap
Given
was
the points on day one.
30. So we were 27, and the winning team was 56. 56.
Did you stay subdued, or did you kind of like no? You guys knew.
We were in the corner. We were freaking out a little bit. And 2 years in a row, we had a pretty what did they call it? The first year we did the competition, they told us they'd never seen a team react the way we reacted. We were very happy, to say the least.
And it was just the four of you, or did you have an entourage with you of other people, family, or anything?
Just the four of us. Yeah, and our
professor.
Faculty advisor.
Wow. Well, you know what, boys? I'm telling you, I'm really proud of you. I loved going through this. I almost feel like I was there. And man, you represented the university and the province so well. So did you get time on the podium to speak? Is that something that happened, or how did that work?
Just run up to the podium. We get handed the trophy, which is around here somewhere.
I don't know. The last year's is in that.
In there?
Case,
and
the key will break into it.
Then they pass you the big check, And
you get a check too?
Yeah.
Does that go into the fund, or what do you do with that? It goes into
your pocket to the fund.
It goes into our personal funds.
How much money did you guys get?
5,000.
Yeah. So split between us.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. It was a bit of a. We went out after. It was kind of good night. And then get a picture with Mr. Van Burkom, and there we go. Call it a day.
That's amazing. So thanks for sharing that story, guys. It's awesome. So we're like, this is how long? Today is May 3rd, I think. We've been traveling, so I'm trying to remember. I don't know what day it is. How long ago was this event?
March 21st,
Okay.
and 2nd.
So a month and a half ago, approximately. That's amazing. So what's been your experience after winning this 2 years in a row?
It was great. We were extremely proud the first time. Newfoundland is on the map, but putting Newfoundland on the map in this way, right? Given the experience we had of university saying, how do you know about this? And then we go and win. We were very happy for the university and the province, and for ourselves too. And to go back for the second time, and it was just, okay, there's no question about it now, right? There was no fluke or anything about last year. It's the second time in a row we'll do it again. And so it's just creating these patterns. As we get more established here at the university, creating patterns and consistency of these finishes really says a lot about the program and where it's going. And we just had a group of females from the fund travel to Virginia, USA for a women's stock pitch competition, and they placed third. And these universities are the top in the US, and for the last 3 years, we finished in the top 3. And we're talking universities like NYU, et cetera.
Yeah.
So we have a strong overall, the depth is strong here.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right. I mean, Enactus has done well throughout the last, 20 years. Let me ask a little bit about, before I go on, I wanted to talk to you, Nathan, about something. There was some more accolades that you received personally. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Frank H. Sobey Awards for Excellence in Business Studies is an Atlantic Canadian award. They give out 8 a year to students from universities in Atlantic Canada. And it's sponsored by the Sobey family, so, the grocery chain and everything like that. So, hugely inspirational family for business people in Atlantic Canada, right? And the way it kind of works is universities take applications from their students. They submit 3 to the foundation. Each university submits 3, and the foundation chooses 8 of those. And somehow I managed to be in the final 8 this year. So.
Well, you're very humble. That's an amazing award, and congratulations for that. It's just amazing to sit with you two and hear your stories. Russell, where do you see yourself going next? You have another semester, another year actually left, right? Tell us a little bit about where you're going to go with that.
No, that's right. I, similarly to Nathan, will be doing a work term with a mentor from the fund. This one will be in St. John's with RBC. So I'll complete that this summer. 2 more academic terms, and hope to complete a master's program somewhere else in the world, maybe Australia for a bit of sun, or the UK. But my goal is always to come back here, and like I can't see myself anywhere else than Newfoundland in the long term. Mm-hmm. And apply to some of the scholarships he won now, follow in his footsteps.
Nathan, what about yourself? You're finishing up. You've got a job, I hear, in Toronto. Tell us a little bit about your future.
Correct. Well, it's moving to Toronto at the end of the month, which is bittersweet in a lot of ways. But I share the same sentiment as Russell, is staying involved with Newfoundland. The firm is small. The founder is from Newfoundland, and he's spending a lot of time here. The other founder is not from Newfoundland, but his mother's a Newfoundlander. And we have many clients in Newfoundland as well. So there's a really close connection to this place, even though we're in a little small office in Toronto, right? Yeah. So, but that's what's happening, and I really am looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, it's exciting to hear, because you both have incredibly bright futures. For you, Nathan, Newfoundland is on the cusp, I keep telling people, of one of probably the greatest economic boost it's ever seen. Yeah. There's so much happening here, from coast to coast to coast in Labrador, mining and all that. Yeah. To know that you both are in the finance side of things, we need money to make that work. Yeah. And if we're going to get the minerals out of the ground, we need people to have faith in this place. Yeah. Very exciting. Tell us a little bit about what you think. I want to end it on a kind of like, for me, business is so important to our community. And frankly, I've seen with past elections some people worried about business, and I don't want to get political, but it's more, to me, the economics are so important. Yeah. I mean, not to put you both on the spot, but Nathan, what do you think about what business means to community?
Well, 2 things. I'll start really quickly and say what the past elections in North America over the past number of years have shown to me is it is really a privilege and a luxury to vote based on personal values, because it shows that your life is in such a situation that you are able to vote because you think someone is a nice person, they share these same values as you, not necessarily because they're going to create jobs that put more money in your pocket. So there's a lot of conflict over why people are voting a certain way, and everyone just needs to vote the way that they want, and then we work together. We saw Carney this morning and Premier Smith from Alberta. They had a good meeting.
Oh, that happened? I didn't know.
That happened, and it's positive. So let's see where things go there. But and business is important, and it's it's just about working together, and we all live in the same place on the same lands with the same neighbors and the same friends, and we have there's ways to do it. There's ways to just work together and prosper together and work to go through challenges together, and we can go through the hardest times. But if we're doing it together, that'll make it a little bit better, at least. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Russell?
Yeah, I think there's been a trend of sustainability and ethical practices. We've seen that increase over the last number of years, the importance people, feel of that. Because like you said, there's been skepticism and, it's influenced politically as well of, the role of businesses in our communities and within our environment and things like that. But as we continue forward, I do see this trend continuing of sustainable business, sustainable practices, ethical practices, and I think Newfoundland is on the cusp of that with renewable energy, for example, and other factors. So I'm excited to see, aquaculture as well. It's exciting, and I think we could be at the forefront of this sustainable future, both economically and socially, and environmentally as well.
Well, someone said to me, Newfoundland needs about 25,000 new people for jobs. And I was thinking, as things change in Ontario, the car business, maybe all those people can come here and fill those jobs. I'm going to tell you something. It is really, this is a Saturday morning. I know Russell just got in from London, England. It's really important to me to have conversations like this. You two gentlemen, your other two that couldn't be here today, that did what you did, that incredible feat representing Newfoundland and Labrador. Someone said to me one time, I don't like the saying Newfoundland punches above its weight, because that has an inherent negativity to it. I agree with that person. I think while we have punched above our weight, we are an incredible province with incredible minds, and we're all rowing together, and these two fine gentlemen are an example of that. I absolutely wish you all the best in your futures. You've already contributed immensely to this province. Just stay positive and keep it going. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Gerry.
Gerry, thank you very much for showcasing, things like this, and we're fans of the show and the program, and hope that a few more new viewers come along.
Absolutely. No, thank you very much for taking time out of your day.
Thank you for tuning in to Gale Force Wins. That's Gale Force Wins, WINS.com.